Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with this special guest, my first guest of season 3. I've actually been wanting to speak to him for a minute, but we've been so busy, our lives have not coordinated as well. But I'm glad to have him here today. This is September. Welcome to the month of September. This is supposed to be the birthing season month, right? The month that things happen when we birth, our destinies come alive, and I'm so excited by September. It's my birthday month too, so happy birthday to me. And I'm excited to be here with this guest. We met actually. I've done so many of these was really before COVID, right? I used to do so much of the NAACP author panels and then the CBC author panel. I don't know which one it was, but I think it was the CBC.
It was a Congressional Black Caucus, CBC.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did the panel, and Sir Charles Cary was the host. And I was so happy to hear about his experiences and everything that he's doing to change people's lives. He actually has a series called Radiate, the Brain, Change the Game of books, and he speaks about it all over, helping professionals and companies and individuals really change the game. Your story in itself, sir, is amazing. Okay, not only are you an author, a speaker, but you're also a singer. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, music was my first love,
Yes.
and that kind of set the stage for everything else. In fact, I say that music and poetry and acting, all the things that I've done have been the training ground to position me exactly where I am at this point in my life. So I'm grateful.
Yes, wonderful. I also am a poet, so I love poetry and music. I can't sing like you can, but yes, I love words. So I want to just jump right into here. Our series really wants to highlight people and their stories. We really look at interesting perspectives that people have and stories that change people's lives, because a lot of times in this society, we're always caught up into celebrities, what celebrities are doing. But we don't understand that everyday people like me and you who, are changing lives all around us and making a big difference. Not saying that we're not extraordinary, right? Okay. All right. So tell me about, how did you come up with the concept of Radiate the Brain, Change the Game?
Well, my very first book, honestly, I don't even offer it any longer, but it's called Poetic Expressions.
Mm-hmm.
I just came off the spoken word scene, and I said, well, I need to focus more in poetry. I'm in films, and I'm doing music, and I said, let me give more attention to speaking, because I thought it was important, based on some of my life's experience, that I share a message versus entertaining people. And my mentor said, look, one of the things that many speakers don't understand is that to be credible, or to add extra credibility to your speaking practice, you should be a published author. He says,
Yes.
great, you got a book. But I said, that's not good enough. I want a book that speaks to the message that I speak about. And hence came the book, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote the book. I got a forward from another coach by the name of Dr. Delatoro McNeil. And that began the beginning of my book journey. Now I've written 7 books, all about mindset, leadership, and communication. And it's really about, actually trying to make a dollar in the difference, but really pouring everything that I've invested in myself into other people.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to get into that. I want to get into the background of your story, right, a little bit, because I know you have some interesting things that I've read about. But what made you even? So I love the fact that you're into leadership and mindset. And during this time, when we come from COVID and just difficult times and trauma and deaths and grief, I really began to focus on mental health. The mindset, it has been so powerful when it comes to even the mental health journey. Talk about how you encourage others to really focus on the mindset and that connection with leadership.
Okay. Well, as you know, maybe many don't know. So if you're watching this in real time, or even if you're watching the replay, I want to encourage you to get a pen and paper, take notes, and to ask questions, because maybe I could follow up after the fact and provide some answers.
Sure.
And I'm sure you can get some insight. And I think that the bottom line in life, everything starts with mindset. Before you wake up, the moment you step out of bed, you're thinking about what you're going to do, good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't matter how important it is, but nothing happens without you considering or reflecting on your thoughts. So mindset is the core foundation for everything in life. Now, as it relates to everyday life, leadership is needed. A mom and a dad in the home, you need to know how to be the best version of the mom and dad that you are. Business, entrepreneurship, it does not matter the industry or the profession. If you really want to be better, the best version of you, you want to be a better leader. And for myself personally, I made a lot of decisions. I tell people in many cases that I'm a professional failure. I failed left and right.
I love that.
I mean, it's true. I mean, look, they say God gives us freedom of will. My choices were to be a follower. And being a follower, I wound up building or digging a ditch for myself that turned into an abyss that I never thought that I would be able to come back from. And that's why I got to where I am today, because I got so low in my life and in my journey that I was devastated and overwhelmed and really disgusted because, like, wow, is this who you've become? Is this what you have led your entire life with, all the joy and inquisitive nature about yourself? Is this what you have amounted to? And at that time, that was it. I didn't think I would be able to come back from that. But I'm grateful because I was able to come back from that. I was able to see myself for who I was and know that the potential that resides within me was able to come out of me. And that led to the book series. Well, you see them right there on the back of the wall.
Yes, yes.
That led to the book series and being a keynote speaker, a trainer, being on reality shows, being in motion pictures. And my point of it all is I tell people, if I've done all of those different things in the latter part of my life, what can you not do?
I love that. I love it. I got so many things I want to jump in and say. First of all, the first thing I want to say is mindset has become even so important in my life. Also, from moving from progression of level to level, right? There was a time I remember, even after I went through a divorce, I went through a period, just of self-worth and feeling like, am I worthy enough? My self-esteem was low and really having to rebuild myself. And one thing that I inquired about God is, how do I do this? How do I do this? And one thing he says, I need to give you vision, Chalet. I need to give you vision. I need you to see things differently. I need you to see yourself differently. So when I started to manifest those things and speak those things as though they were, right? Because that's what faith is all about.
Exactly.
And my mindset began to change and I began to believe the things that I was speaking even before they manifested. So I love that. I love that idea, that mindset and how it really translates into leadership, right? It's a big thing. To be a leader, you have to have a mindset of a leader, right? A lot of people say they are leaders.
Let me show you something really quick. I had no idea and have no idea of the questions and the conversation in its totality, what it will consist of. However, you just said that God told you about mindset and clarity of vision. I have an event coming up called Clear Vision.
Wow.
You see that? Look, I had no idea those words would come out your mouth. And this is why I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that everything happens with a purpose and sometimes with a divine purpose.
Wow.
You said God told you about thinking clear and developing a vision. And my event coming up is called Clear Vision, seeing it before it's there. Now I can talk a little bit later on, but my point is I couldn't just ignore what you just said, because you have to strike when the iron's hot.
That's right. I love it. I love that we are all in synergy already.
Exactly.
That's God, But and I also want to mention what you said about later on in life. I think that we live in a time where people feel like they're pressed for time, maybe because of the pandemic and a lot of untimely deaths seem to play factor in that. But also just the fact that it seems like once you get past a certain age, your life is over. And that is such a myth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at any point in your life, I never forget the video that showed how many people became successful after the age of 30 and 40 and 50, became millionaires and changed their whole life. So can you talk about that a little bit? Because that is such a powerful thing.
Look, Colonel Sanders is becoming my hero real quick, because he was like 60 something when he finally made it. But this is the truth, and it's just funny. It's odd that I still sometimes wake up with the idea, oh, wow, I want to do that. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
with excitement, with the
Mm-hmm.
genuine interest. And, I'm like, how do you do that? And then I think, you too old to be doing that. Then I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. The true urge and desire resides still within me as if a child wakes up on Christmas. So, I think that's important that we have to realize there's no such thing as it's too late or it's too late for
Mm-hmm.
me or oh, I'm getting ready to retire. I'm not going to do nothing. No, do your due diligence, but the truth of the matter is if you're excited about it, that excited,
Mm-hmm.
that interested, don't let it pass you by. That could be
Mm-hmm.
a message being downloaded for you to take action. But so
Yes,
many of us
yes.
just traditional thinking that we don't even try, we give up before we get started.
I love that. I love the title "Radiate the Brain" because I don't know how how many people realize how powerful the brain is. Right. I happen to have most of my best friends. I don't know why God set this up. Are actually therapists and psychologists. So even though I see a therapist, I really have friends who I can go to therapy for free
Right.
because they're licensed. And even in some of my scholarly PhD work, we've done studies of the brain. And can you talk about how powerful the brain is and how much it motivates or really our actions, our thinkings, every part of our being?
Well, it's funny, it's like every time you say something, it hits a bell that I have to come back with something
Please.
similar. Most of my clients are in ministry, and I'm thinking to myself, hold up. These people have their own churches, their own
Mhm.
congregations. They've been in ministry for a while. Why are they coming to me? And I said, you know what? Don't question it. Just accept it and do what you are designed to do. And it's true. A lot of them, they want to know how to write books because once you learn something, you should not or should be unable to unlearn it. And I
Yes,
teach people how to write their own books and create their own products. It's called Tell Your Story, Live Your Story, Be Your Story. But
I
I
love
think
it.
as it relates to mindset, it doesn't matter whether you want to be an electrician, a carpenter, speaker, author, whatever it is, you have to be all about that thing. Meaning, what are the best practices with that thing or industry? Why are you excited about it? You should know it. You should feel it in your bones. You should want to talk about it
Mm,
almost all of the time. Because if not, that might not be it. Now,
mhm.
here's a question I ask my audiences. Normally, at the end of my keynotes, when I'm on the road, I ask this question because I want to leave them thinking. So here's a question pretty early.
Mhm.
What is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And when you talk about it, you light up inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe even a smile comes to your face.
Mhm.
Because whatever the answer is, you may have just met your purpose.
I love it. Yes.
That's that's
Yes.
that's wedged in your mindset. You see, your mind is your vault.
Mhm.
Your ideas, your desires, your talents, your skills, that's your currency. You
Yes,
have to keep
yes.
those things locked in here until it's time to reveal them. And you can't let everybody know about what your dreams, desires, and wishes are.
I was just you hit on a nail because I was about to go to that question next. Yes, let's go there because I feel like so many people are their destiny and their purpose is tied to who they choose to be around, follow, be in company of. Even I remember there were times, we all get in times when we feel low. And there were times when I felt low and I just decided, God, I just don't want you to bother me. I just want to be free. I remember saying this to God, like, God, can you just leave me alone for a second? Let me just be free. Let me just go out here and just not be the good chalet. Let me be somebody else. Right. And I remember being in that state and God was like, where you trying to go though? Where you trying to go? Are you trying to be like them? Because you can go backwards and be like them, or you trying to get to me. You know what I'm saying? Where I need you to be. And I think that's so important that we always constantly reevaluate our circle. I saw a video that a guy was speaking. I forgot his name, but he said that basically dogs, the dogs that have behavioral problems, the best way to fix them is to put them in, put them around dogs who are best behaved, right? And what happens? The dogs turn out to be better behaviors because they are around better behaved animals. So I think
Look,
it's the same thing with people.
likeness attracts likeness.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what it is. You know, if it's good behavior, bad behavior, we're attracted by the same types of behavior that we're a part of. And unfortunately, a lot of us, when we're around negative people or friends that have a strong, influential personality or character, they make you do things you normally would not do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing on the reverse. When you're around people that are about something, they're ambitious,
Yes.
they have desires, they're spiritual, whatever it may be, a lot of times you lock into that that energy. I remember a friend of mine's from my music days. He was a road manager for New Edition.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Bobby was such a mischievous person that, you know, sometimes they be out there on the road traveling from city to city or state to state, and they say, "Where's Bobby? Where's Bobby?" And they look around, and all of a sudden, Bobby was on top of one of the big speakers, dancing and pumping and humping, and they will get the crowd in a frenzy. So some people are so full of energy, good and bad, that they can infuse an entire arena to behave in ways they normally would not do.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful just an example of how your circle.
And that's why people have to understand when I say radiate the brain and change the game, you know, you really have to focus. Radiation focuses on a particular part of the body that's ailing. And it does that so that it doesn't hurt or destroy any other thing. But in focusing on the part of the body that's sick or has disease, it will get rid of that disease. Now, true, it does make the body vulnerable because your immune system is weakened, lowered, or weakened. But the point of it is by focusing on that part of the body that's sick or ill, it presents another opportunity. It changes your physical standards or your physical situation.
Oh, I love that. I love that whole analogy of radiation, right? Killing the sick part of your body. And so many times, whether we realize it or not, the illnesses that affect our body are linked to our spirit, you know, to what we're feeling inside, you know. Yeah, that's really powerful. I love that whole analogy. I want to go back to your beginnings, and humble beginnings, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, what are some, I want to talk about some epiphanies that you had in your life. I ask all my guests these questions, and it's always interesting to see what they say. Some things that really happened to you that made you like, wow, that was a light bulb moment.
Well, I'm from Harlem. I'm so in
New York is in the house, yes.
representing all the time. And excuse me. So being that I was from Harlem and, you know, at the time that I came up, you know, hip hop was happening, a lot of different things was going on. But like I said, I became a follower because I wanted to fit in. I was one of those reserved and quiet kids and, you know, really didn't know who I was. I was constantly trying to understand who myself, find myself, and I was constantly seeking clarity. When I fell into this abyss because of my behavior, I didn't realize that, you know, I really had messed myself up. You know, for over 20 some odd years, I was a substance abuser. And you know, it was like, wow, crack was my best friend. Now, I usually tell a story about it. We don't have the liberty of telling it that way today. But when I opened my eyes, truly opened my eyes, I realized, dang, what have I done? I have 3 children, a full-blown crackhead. And I'm like, this is not who I am at my core. I knew that, but I didn't know how to dig out of it. So you fast forward, let's say, maybe five or so years later, when I'm able to change my life by being in a new environment, talking about influence, right? Learning different things about myself. I remember I had joined this network marketing company and we were on the road. We were doing what they call a regional event. And Les Brown was the guest speaker. And I heard him come out on the stage and everyone was in an uproar. Les Brown, yes.
Yeah.
And part of his keynote, he said, you got to be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. And
Mm,
at that time, I was clean for about, like I say, well, maybe 5 or so years.
mm-hmm.
Like, wow, I was so excited. I went home. You know what I did, Charlotte, right?
What?
Nothing. So
Oh gosh.
the next event, I didn't know it was going to be Les Brown, but it was. And I couldn't wait for him to say that affirmation. And truth
Mm-hmm.
be told, he didn't have to say it. I just needed to see him
Mm-hmm.
as a reminder to myself that if you want change, you must do what's necessary. You must learn
Yes.
and find out. So that second time, I said, okay, what do I need to be a speaker? I had to learn about business cards. I had to learn about websites. I had to learn all the nuances, having a one sheet, all the little nuances and details that present me or allow me to show up as a speaker. And from there, I spoke almost everywhere I could until I started getting paid to speak.
Mm.
That was the aha or the yeah, I guess I would say that was the aha moment for me that really said to myself that you can change and it's up to you to control your destiny.
I love that. I love that story. People don't know, but I was raised in the 80s when crack was a big, it was really 80s and 90s when crack became like just really ran through the communities, right? Like people were like everyday normal middle class people, and then all of a sudden, they're like trying to sell you something and they're on drugs, and it's like, what happened? What's her name's mom? You know what I'm saying? And it just really ravaged our community. I mean, it's so funny how now drug abuse is looked at in a different way. It's a mental illness,
It
and it's a
is.
different community, of course, but we weren't treated like that, in our
Right.
communities, right? It wasn't treated as a mental illness or, a crisis, right? Or epidemic, right? It was treated as we were criminalized for a lot of
Exactly. Facts.
people of
Facts.
color. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to see how the perspective has changed when it comes to the drug abuse era. But I want to just hit on something that you said, because I think that people, whether it's substance abuse, drug abuse, just toxic traits and
Yeah.
habits, right? It doesn't even have to be the big things. The little things will burn down Rome. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't they can't find the willpower to change or the catalyst to change. I want you to go back to that moment when you decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to get off a drug. I know this is not the core of me. I love what you said. What was it that pushed you? Was it divine intervention? What was it?
It was a couple of things. It was knowing that I had 3 children. My oldest daughter, I mean, I could feel her spirit pulling on me. She was living with her mom. The younger 2 children, they were living with me at the time with their mom. And the innocence, I like, you're raping your own children.
Yeah.
Not physical rape, but psychological rape. I'm stealing from them. I'm depriving them. I'm taking from them the kind of father that they need and the stability that they need. And that tore me up. I'm
Right.
like, what are you doing to them? I mean, our parents drank alcohol, beer, and maybe that was too much. Maybe that was wrong because it was in excess at times,
Mm-hmm.
but it was nothing like crack. It was nothing like heroin. I mean, I didn't do heroin,
Mm-mm.
but the point is, it was nothing like hard drugs. And I just felt so wrong, so guilty. And God was talking to me this
Mm-hmm.
entire time, like, how much more do you want to take? Because the truth of the matter is, I didn't even enjoy it anymore.
Right. Right. But
Oh,
wait a minute, stop right there. That's what happens, right? Because that's how the devil sucks us in, right? He gets us in these situations, whatever it is, right? And it's fun at first,
right,
it's nothing. They say it's nothing like that first high. That's what everybody says, right?
right.
And you get it and it's fun, and then all of a sudden you become a slave to it, and so it's no longer fun, right? It is something that has mastered you.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And what I realized, I kept saying to myself, well, if you don't like it, why do you keep doing it? And it's because I like the process. I like the
Mm-hmm.
process of going out, getting my drugs, getting back without getting caught, and then sitting in peace of mind, setting everything up. The actual high, I didn't even enjoy that. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm addicted, literally, habitually addicted to the process and to the fact that, oh, you're doing it because you've always done it. They say, why does grandma make the turkey in this kind of pot? Oh no, that's what we always do. Go ask
Right.
grandma. And when you ask grandma, why you make the turkey in this kind of pot? She tells you, oh, because I couldn't afford the other kind. So
Mm.
it's like you don't even know why you're doing it. You're doing it just to be doing it.
That's good.
You
That's
know?
good. That's good. That's a message all in itself, right?
Yeah,
How
because we
many of
do it
us
in life.
are slave to the process, to habitual process, to traditions, to
Yep.
generational curses, to
Yep.
traditions that are really generational curses, and we don't even know it. God,
And then we
that's
got to
good.
be careful that when we get well, that we don't develop new ones in a different way or disguise differently. Like
Wow.
you so hell bent on being a businessman that you may not be doing drugs, but you still got that drug fiend behavior. You got that
Oh,
dope fiend behavior. You so hell bent on being successful, you're ignoring your spouse, you're still ignoring your children, you're ignoring having fun, the quality of life you can have. You still fiending. You just fiending without the drugs.
ooh, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up. That's a whole word right there. Because I think that's what happens. I never forgot. I remember I had a girlfriend who had been clean for so many years, right? And I spoke to her and I won't say her name, but I said, I'll use a fake name. I said, Lynn, you're clean. You've been clean for years, but your behavior, your habits are like the habits of you being on drugs.
Yep.
You know, I said, so you need to not only detox yourself in your body, but you need to detox your spirit because you talking like a crackhead, you acting like it, you just not doing it, you know?
Like you ain't selling dope, you ain't selling getting high, you selling positivity, but you over the top with it. You so
Right.
extreme with it. And I didn't understand that when they said, excuse me, I was in the rooms, the NA rooms for a while,
Yes.
and they was talking about different people. Oh, he's still a dope fiend. They say he using but he still got that dope fiend going on. And I was like, what are they talking about? It took me a long time to understand that the person may have been going to the rooms to get clean, or they may have been abstinent, but their behavior was the same as if they were using.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
Wow. That's so good. I mean, I think that's one of the things that therapy really helped me with, right? Because I went through a divorce and I really went through some, inner transformation, right? I
Yeah.
wanted to change me, I wanted to do some self-reflection on who I was, right? And
Yeah.
in order to do that, I had to get rid of some toxic traits within myself, right? Because it's easy for us to point our fingers at the situation or the problem or the person,
Yep.
right? But when I had to really go deep inside of me and say, wait, this is broken in you. So you are accepting things, you are letting your boundaries be overrun, your walls be overrun. You are not even setting any boundaries. And so that's why you're running into the same people, even though you divorced this person, you dating the same person with a different name and a different face. Why?
Yep.
Because you have not done the inner work.
Because we're quietly in denial somewhat and or blinded to, am I really acting like that? Am I really doing that? Am I
Mm-hmm.
seeing it the same way or whatever the case may be? Because we don't see it. And it's like we haven't grown to the level that we think we have, and we want to be there, but technically we're not there. And we're like, why everybody looking at me like I'm good? No, you're
Yes.
not good.
Yes.
It's the same
Yes.
thing with men when they talk about the fact that you might really like this. I'm gonna say it anyway, fellas.
Please.
I'm sorry, I gotta put it out there. A lot of us, I don't need no woman. F that, man. Whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. No, you're not good
Mm-mm.
because you're a human being like anyone else. You have feelings. You've been told ever since you was 2, 3, 4, 5. Shut up. Stop that crying. Man up. So your
Mm-hmm.
feelings have been suppressed. So now that you're out of this relationship, you think you already are all right and ready to go to the next relationship. But the truth of the matter is, you haven't processed what you went through in the previous
So
relationship.
true.
And you're not over the pain, the disgust, the hurt, the disappointment. And you trying to say, nah, I'm good. Yo, what's up? Let's get it popping. What? But you
Yeah.
get it popping because you ain't being real.
Right, right. And hurt when you don't heal, it will manifest itself in all kind of ways. I mean,
People
you
hurt.
will be sweat will be coming out dirty. You know, like everything you do, you're gonna bleed on the paper eventually. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna bubble over eventually.
Yeah.
So I think that's so important that that yes, people seek this inner healing and really find out that even when they feel like they're free of something, that they're really free all the way.
Yeah.
That's a powerful statement. Powerful statement. What are some of the things that you have noticed in today's society, especially after COVID, that has really caught your attention, that you speak about, that's really like been, you know, your topic that you like, wow, this has really changed?
Well, I think that it's hard because a lot of times we really just don't see it. And I know for a while, for the first year, maybe year and change, I kept saying, "Oh, I'm not impacted by COVID. It hasn't bothered me." But
Mm-hmm.
when I got quiet, I said to
Mm-hmm.
myself, "How do you really feel? Are
Mm-hmm.
you acting different? Is your behavior the same?" And the truth was, yeah, I guess I have been impacted by COVID. I am
Mm-hmm.
easily agitated. I
Yeah.
am shorter with patience. I don't sleep consistently like I was
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
And I think to get through COVID or any other extremely challenging time, there's four things that we got to do. And hopefully I can remember them because I just did a talk about them the other day. Number one, you got to be honest with yourself.
Mm.
With yourself about yourself.
Mhm.
Honest with yourself about whatever's happening around you. Number two, you got to be confident. Number three, I'm struggling with because it just jumped out in and out my mind.
That's okay.
But the fourth thing is you have to have number three, you've got to have a plan.
That's good.
So be honest with yourself, be confident within yourself,
Mhm.
create or develop a plan. And number four, you have to have the willingness to move forward once these things are clear or clearly in front of you. Now, some
Mhm.
people may say, well, honest with what? Well, to be totally honest, again, pardon the pun, but you may not be able to address all these things on your own. Sometimes you do need a coach or a psychiatrist or psychologist because sometimes it's hard for us to see ourselves. And as
Mhm.
Dr. Cary says, it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. So
Yes.
you have to understand that your level of honesty, first and foremost, you have to be honest with you. And you
Yes.
don't necessarily need a coach for that, but you have to be truthful enough to say, Dag, I was kind of impatient with that guy, or Dag, I snapped at so and so. I
Mhm.
deserve that. Be honest with yourself.
Yes.
And these same four steps are applicable as you're in pursuit of doing something you've never done or always wanted to do. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be honest with yourself. Do you have what it takes?
Mhm.
It works
Mhm.
on so many different platforms. Are you confident enough to be truthful? Are you confident to become a plumber? Are you confident to go back to school if you need a piece of paper or degree? Are you confident with this woman that you want to tell her, well, look, I've been dating other women, if we and you going to be exclusive, I need to know straight up. This is what my status is. What's your status? Whatever
Right.
it may be, can you be honest, confident? Can you create a plan? And do you have the willingness to move forward in that direction?
I love that. One thing that I noticed that COVID, I didn't think COVID affected me. And I had the same kind of reaction you did until I realized it did. Right. And, I was always so, my mother, my family and myself has always prided myself in being so bold, so bold and almost recklessly bold, which is not good, but it's good in a way. Right. Because I had no fear. So I really exercised my faith. And then I began to notice, like, during COVID, fear began to creep in,
Mm.
anxiety, like, God, am I gonna die alone? You know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, I saw myself accepting relationships that I would normally not accept, right?
Okay.
Being open to be in situations that I normally would not be open to be in, staying in things longer than their life shelf called for, right?
Right,
So I
right.
really had to kind of go to God and be like, okay, this is a place of fear and anxiety, and I need you to resolve this in me. So I totally think that we all need to really process that, how COVID has affected us, right? I mean, I had students that came to me and were like, Professor Baptiste, I go to school and class just to get out of my toxic home. And so
Wow.
now, because of COVID, I'm stuck in the house with toxic parents. We don't think about things like that.
I tell people a lot of times, I just got back from Cleveland about a week or so ago. And, it's not the first time I use the analogy because I know it's real. And I tell people, sometimes you're sharing space with toxic people. Many of us share a pillow with truly toxic people.
Yes.
And that's very sad because, you know, you want to live your dreams and share your dreams and aspirations with those you love. But sometimes we either have grown apart or we have made bad choices to
Yes.
partner with people who are not understanding, insightful, supportive,
Yes.
vicious, any of those things. And or some people just don't know how to turn it off. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the truth. And you have to realize, this is what I was talking about earlier. You may share space with negative people and you may not be able to stop that, but you cannot allow them to get into your mental space. Your mental space is your vault. So your dreams, wishes, and desires, again, that is your currency. You cannot allow them access to your mind, because if they get into your vault, all your dreams and aspiration become minimized until they sooner or later don't exist at all.
I love that. Ooh, that's powerful. I like that whole idea of the vault, right? Because
Yeah,
a vault is so many things. It's where your treasures are, right?
exactly.
And so whenever you allow something that's not supposed to be there to infiltrate your actual treasures, you are totally misaligning your whole purpose and destiny that
And
God
everyone
has for you.
becomes vulnerable and maybe
Mm,
valueless.
yes. Oh, that's so good. How many people have, lost their power and their true calling because they let things and people into a place that they weren't supposed to, right? Like,
Exactly.
wow, so powerful. I love what you're doing for people. Tell us about the conference that you have coming up. Like, when is it? Where is
It's,
it?
it's going to be on October 29th, which is a Saturday from 9 to 3. And I'm excited about it because I hand selected what I feel are some of the best in their respective areas. My co-host and partners, Dr. Brian Champion. I was doing a keynote for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the director at the time said, Sir Charles, you need to meet Dr. Champion. So he and I met. We had several Zooms and discussions about what we do, et cetera, and
Yeah.
decided, let's do an event. And we titled it Clear Vision, Seeing It Before It's Done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people I'm most excited about is Bishop David Sabatino from Salisbury,
Mm.
Maryland. He used to be one of my clients. Now he's doing his own thing. He wrote a book called Armed with a Vision and an Action Plan.
Mm.
Perfect for this conference. We've got Janice Thorne, who's about mindset mastery. She's going to be
Mm.
speaking about mindset mastery.
I love that.
We've got our MC is a Christian comedian, Marilyn Platinum Franklin. She's going to be our host. And we're going to be giving away everything except for the kitchen sink. I'm telling you, you got free parking. We're going to feed you. We're going to have swag bags. There's going to be
Wow.
a networking section. You're going to get physical and digital products from us. You have access to all the presenters. And we're toying with the idea of giving everyone a copy of every presentation. So there's so much that
I
we're
love
trying
it.
to do. All you got to do is go to Eventbrite, look for Clear Vision, seeing it before it's there. Use the code VISION, VISION, and get a discount. The discount is only good until the end of the month. So you can save about $28, $30 somewhere in there, but it's already economical because, I mean, a conference like this, I'll be honest with you, normally costs about anywhere from $400 or more dollars, and we're making it available for $125.
Oh, that's good. That's
That's
great
really good.
price.
Look, I've been doing this for almost about 20 some odd years. And trust me, that's more than good. So
Yes.
if you get in at the $97 using the vision code, that's great. If you get in for 125, you really are still ahead of the game.
Yes, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love
It's
it.
gonna be at the Hampton Inn, just to remind you, at the Hampton Inn in Camp Springs, Maryland.
Okay.
That again is a Saturday, October 29th.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that sounds powerful. I might try to attend myself. So
Please do, please do.
yes, I would love to support. I love supporting things, and you can always learn about any
Oh,
mindset. Mastery is my thing. Like I'm
yeah.
trying to master my own mindset actually.
And I've known
Um,
all these presenters for a number of years. So the thing is, I like working with people that I have worked with or that I've
mhm.
known for a period of time. And I've known all of these people for quite some time. So I'm excited about it. You know, we've got a group called CV Productions right here on Facebook, and we're doing Meet the Presenters every week. A different presenter gets to talk about what they're going to speak about, and we got their images and all the stuff so you can learn about them. And we're
Yes.
excited. We're just excited about it.
I love it. So one day I gotta bring you back. I'm coming out with a poetry book soon. We gotta go back and forth with some poetry. I'm gonna have like a
Okay.
poetry jam session. So I
Okay.
gotta bring you back for that. You know what I'm saying?
Look, the poetry verses, right?
Yes, that would be great. I love it. Oh, I love poetry.
Yes, yes. My struggles are
Yes.
great. My struggles are many. I'm just a man with sin all in me. I find it amazing. Let me stop. Let me stop.
I love it. I love it. Oh, do it. Do it. I want
But
to
listen,
thank you.
I do have to run. I've got another interview.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is great. I look forward to coming back someday. Just please let me know when.
Yes. I
Yeah.
want to thank you for being on the show. Before you leave, I just wanted you to tell the audience where they can find you,
Okay.
website, Instagram, and everything.
I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and IG. Everything is those URLs / Sir Charles Cary.
Ah,
SirCharlesCary. Everything
yes.
/ Sir Charles Cary.
Feel free to reach out to him. Feel free to please network with him, use his services. The conference, October 29th in Maryland. I know it's going to be awesome. I want to thank you, Sir Charles Cary, for being on the show today. We have so many more awesome guests for September. So stay tuned, you guys, and stay blessed.